the human rights charts.
Yes.
And also the human rights violation made on the human rights chart regarding certain cultures that take over like the hierarchy of this human rights chart and don't count this chart at all and impose their own charts themselves. I'm talking about certain countries like Saudi Arabia, Iran, all of these kind of countries, and where women don't, or also men don't really have, but mostly women and children, but mostly don't have the knowledge or the rights there as in the human rights chart because of the culture. That is
Yes.
big problematic. How did a country go beyond the human rights universal law?
Yes. Yeah, it's a big and I would say vital question you asked. So it's not easier to explain everything in a short period of time, but let me, long story short, based on my study, based on my experience, based on my working with international organizations. So United Nations has been structured in a way. It's volunteer organization. It's a volunteer organization for this world. It's not authoritative. I mean authoritative that if any countries do any kinds of crimes or any kinds of bad actions against humanity, United Nations cannot jump instantly or intervening or preventing the state to do that activities against humanity because of the state policy. And United Nations cannot override their sovereignty, their independency. And some countries, you are right, some countries I don't want to mention in this planet, they have their own law. And when we look at universal policy, it does not match. And that is the point. We need to grow up together with a common education and understanding what is human rights and what is humanity is. Then, if the general population will be able to understand their rights and their life mechanism, then it will create a dimension to their state policy and it will reflect on their political agenda. So that's how important it is to develop individual human being. Then it will reflect on your international or globally.
Very nice answer. That's the thing. It's mostly affects women and
girls.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's a big issue in their own freedom and
Yes.
A lot of control.
Yes.
And what will happen if they don't surrender to that control? I am talking about certain things that they have to do that I won't mention that are fundamental in the country for the politicians, the law, and for all men. And it's why women? Why not men? Why? What if it was women who was doing that to men? How would this impact?
Yeah. So yeah, it's a huge point you brought up. So in our equality concept, equality, we call it equality.
Yes.
In equality concept is the great barriers is the gender issue. We raised issue, we identified each other as a man, woman. Men got privilege and somewhere women, they are not counted as equally. So this issue has been uh, continuing since beginning of our human history is very sad part. Is very sad part. So, as I said again, everywhere we need to reshape our educational system. So, if a child born today and this child will grow up with a concept of tradition that we have a hierarchy of men and women, they are learning from their birth. And if the child born right now with a social setup, there is no inequality. Everybody is the same phase. So again, we have to go back to the root cause of the problem. The root cause is to teach people, teach general people, not the higher authority.
Isn't that called corruption?
We can say definitely it's a corruption against humanity. Whatever you are doing against humanity, preventing others to express their own opinion, to raise their own voice, to walk their path with 100% freedom, which is corruption. It's a huge corruption. It's not officially corruption like other way where conflict, killing, but it's a huge corruption. It will damage the core value of your society. If a child growing up with a concept that I can hate these kinds of person or this group of girls, this group of women, they are learning from their birth. So it goes with your vein, with your DNA, with your body cells. So what we need to start to prevent this chronic disease? This is social chronic disease, corruptions, hate, gender issues, identifications, nationalities. We need to work together in the root, and root is education, proper education.
Often the children find themselves with a generational, I won't say curse, but like generational problems that's been ongoing
Yes.
for generations.
Yes.
And the child that has been born in this generation is taking it all on himself because because nobody else will do. Some children are really like that. They take all the generational problems that has been ongoing for centuries, and they just deal with everything, and it's pretty amazing how they either find a breakthrough or either fall for it again. So I think it's a very interesting thing to observe, how they are dealing with it, and that's when you see how much one person can do as one being, and how much power, inner strength the child has from carrying all the past things that has been thrown
Yes.
in front.
Cultural, traditional,
yes,
or like state policies. You are very right. Yes. So you see, at this moment we are in a world, everything we have, you can see technologies, comfortable. We have huge development in transportation, internet, technologies, and especially social medias. But one thing is missing, which is individual development, which is called second generation human being. We can make a second generation human being, as you spoke about children, which is a big source of our healthy human societies we can create by developing them. By not blaming teenagers, by not blaming children doing this, that, bad thing, help them to cope up with the genetic pressure. Oh, I am 70, I can pressure you as a child. Don't do that, because you never know. Unique knowledge is everywhere, the same level. Does not matter how old this kid or this child is. So this is another thing we are carrying. billion years, our genetic pressure, our like superpower. Oh, this country, they have this controls, so we have to obey their rules, we have to honor them, respect them. So yes, definitely we can respect them, but they have to respect others as well the same way I am respecting them. So this is the point we can work, and definitely it's happening. There are lots of work has been happening. You see lots of non-profit organization, they are working together with United Nations. Lots of states, individual countries, they are working tremendously on children, women and girls issues. But the issue is huge than the support we have right now. We have to increase, we have to make more sanction with our heart, with real investment to build up a second generation human community.
Like you said.
Well said. It's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, and